Hi, it's Malcolm here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create an independent chatbot with Make.com, OpenAI and some simple website code. So I'm going to give you the three files you need to create the website bot, how to set up the AI assistant, how to create a simple Make.com scenario, and how to save the question and answers to either Airtable or Google Sheets. By doing it this way, you don't need Chatbot, HubSpot or Chatbase or any of those. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, so stay tuned. Okay, so this is the Make scenario. We've basically got a webhook. I've renamed these. A webhook which looks out for information coming in. We then send it to an assistant that answers the question. Then I use a JSON compiler within the prompt. I've just done that quickly. I think there's probably other ways of doing it, but I just use ChatGPT to do it because it can do most things. And then we respond back to the webhook to tell it the answer to the question in JSON, and then we can put it in an Airtable to track information. Now that doesn't have to be an Airtable. That could be a Google Sheet or any other table or spreadsheet that you use, so it doesn't have to be anything. I've just used Airtable because I kind of like Airtable. Okay, so let's the web page will look a bit like this. Sorry, I've already opened one up, but I'll put that aside. You just go chat. This won't work, but all you do is go hello and send it, and then it will actually come back with a response. It won't now because it's not tied into anything, because this is a fresh install that I've done for you. So basically what we want to do is we want to start a new scenario, and I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So if we go to just organization and just create a new scenario. Okay, so what we're looking at for is a webhook, and we want custom webhook triggers when a webhook receives data. That's what we're kind of looking for. So we use that one. We now need to give it a name. So you can just call it what you want. If we put GPT webhook. Okay, and then when we save that, now as this is a webhook, then it is a little bit open on the internet as far as being in the JavaScript. So you might want to put IP restrictions in, or you want to use headers and run those through. Now I'm not going to go into that in this video. There are other videos about that kind of thing, but you want to secure it. If it's internal, then maybe it's not a big problem, but if it's on the web, you might want to think about securing it a little bit more. So we're going to save that, and that's going to give us this link here. Okay, so we're going to copy that to the clipboard, and then what we're going to do is come over to the files. Okay, there's a couple of things in here, and what we're going to do is we want this. In this case, we're going to use this AI2. Now, there's a couple of these, and there may even be more in the final file. I'm not sure yet. Now, I normally use Notepad, so I'll show you that. Notepad. Okay, so what we're looking for is in the JavaScript. I just moved myself over there. Is this thing here called webhook, and then all we do is paste that hook in there. Okay, so that's all we have to do. You can open this with a notebook or anything like that. I use Notepad++, but anything, Notepad or whatever, you just have to find that and then paste that in there and save it. So that's now saved. So what we can do is go back to Make.com and go OK, and then what we're going to do is we're going to run this once. Okay, and then we're going to go to this. Let's move me over that side again, and we go chat. Okay, and you can see it is saving the history for me, and I'll go hi there. Now again, it will say oops, something went wrong because we haven't created the whole response yet. So we go send, but what we're hoping is when we go back to the integration, actually thinking about it, I think I better just refresh that again, because just to make sure. I'm going to send that. Right, and as you can see that the bundle has been got all that hi there has come to the webhook. So we know we've got the first part working. That's changed to green, which shows it's all working. So we're, first of all, before we go on, we will, I'm going to put myself up there for a second, sorry. Just wander around the screen for you. I'm going to rename this as get question. Oops. Question. Okay, and then we're going to call this Chatbot integration. I'm sure you can come up with a better name than I have. And there's another guy who does these, and he loves putting in these little icons, and I kind of do myself, so I'm going to put that one in, I think. Okay, so chatbot integration, and the thing to remember with Make is to always save your scenarios. Okay, save often, because you're going to need to save often. Okay, so chatbot integration, that's saved. Right, the next thing we need to do is set up an assistant in OpenAI. So what you do is you go to OpenAI. Presumably you've got an OpenAI account. You're going to need one. So sorry, you probably can't see that. So if I go here, it's OpenAI, and it's platform.openai.com assistant. So the reason I decided to go for a AI assistant is because you can give it more and more information as it goes along. You can add new files and things like that. Sometimes you can do that with a standard completion with just one seed object or something like that. But really, you know, you want to be able to build up the data so it responds better and better at the questions. So what we do is we create an assistant, and we do this, and we're going to give it a name. So Chatbot assistant. Now, obviously, there are lots and lots of different prompts you can put in this. I'm going to use a really simple one just to start, and then you can build it up. I'm going to add a few to the file as well that you can add to it. So this is your helpful QA assistant that will answer questions in formal way, but not, sorry, that should be not too formal. If you say formal and let it go, it can sometimes get a bit silly. You will base your answers on the files that you have at your disposal, which are these files. So I have this file here. I'm just going to put that over there a little bit so I can just drag it in. And so details of products are there, and it's basically just telling it some pretty information about a fictitious product. So basically we can test the answers, questions and answers based on that. So we attach that, and make sure you put file search on. I made that mistake before and like, what are those answers I'm getting? So you use that. You can mess around with temperatures and things like that. Again, that's another video. That's not for this real video. So we'll keep it here. The other thing is you don't want it to be too expensive. So I like ChatGPT-4 Mini for this. You may prefer another version like GPT 3.5. I mean, it's only answering questions. It doesn't really need to be the more sophisticated models. And 4 is a newer one, and it's a mini version, so it's quite good. But if not, I'd go for Chat 3.5, one of those. But I just like mini, and that's kind of what I'm using for this. Okay, so we've created the assistant, and it's given us a number. So what we now need to do is we could test it on the playground if we wanted to, but I'm kind of not going to go through that. In fact, let's just test it on the playground. So we can just go, what's the price of the product? And if we run that, and we're just waiting for the result, it's retrieving the product is super clean, and it's giving us the price and everything else. And if we look at the text file, and that we can see that basically it's $4.99, $3.99. Express delivery $19.99. It's all kind of there. Where did it get that $19.99 from? Oh yeah, there. So express delivery. So it's doing what we basically want it to do. So basically that's done. Right. Okay. So now we're going to go back to Make, and we're going to actually add that in. Okay. We need to go and get an API key. So we go to dashboard, and we get an API key, and we will sorry, I've got to move again. I keep moving around. Create new scenario key, or create new key. I'll put myself over there. So chatbot again, Q&A, just do that. And that's the project that we're in, and we create a key. Now, it's sort of done it first time. Sometimes when you first generate keys, it's got this new game that it asks you to play, which is quite funny, but that's what we need. So I'm going to paste that somewhere so I've got it in a minute. Okay, so we're going to add the chat message assistant, which is this one here. We're going to add that in. We're going to click on it, and we're going to add a new connection, and we're going to call it ChatGPT, and then we're going to give it that API key that we got, which is that one there, and we don't need organization, and we're going to save it, and we'll wait for that to connect to that. Okay, that's connected. So we're now going to go to assistant, and that's that. We change that to assistant because we want an assistant, and then we're going to get the message from the question. So let me just, we put that in. Basically, that's from the webhook. That's the question we get. Let me just move that across a bit so we can see that better. The screen gets a little bit over, so if I go back there and wait for that to just load again, you can see that if I click question, it's coming from there, and you see that bouncing up and down. That means that question is from there, and we go okay because that's the question we need. I'm going to save this quickly, and then I'm just going to rename this. GPT answer. Okay. Did I spell that right? I think so. Okay, so what we're going to do now is run that again, because we want to see if we get an answer. Okay, so we're going to click chat, and we're going to say, what is the ID? And we're going to send that. It's going to fail again because we haven't finished off the whole of the integration yet. But you can see here now that's spinning. It's got the question, and then it's just sent it to ChatGPT. And the product ID, the result is the product ID is a super clean 3000 and it's quoted the source, which is the document that we gave it. Now that's okay, but we now need to get that back to the webhook, and the problem is that the webhook is using JSON, okay, in this particular instant. So basically it's a message answer. So I'll give you an example of that. We're going to add a new completion prompt, which is down here. Make that a little bit smaller again, and we're going to have a look in here. So it's a completion prompt, and we're going to use, again, you only have to use mini or turbo or something like that, one of the cheap ones you don't really need. And then we need to add a message. Now the message is, in this case, role is a user, and then we have to put in the message content. Please turn this text, and we've got to give it the result because that's not the result. Again, this will be in the file, so we want the result from here, which is that one there, into a JSON response with answer and then colon, and then the text. Can you please get rid of any source boxes or anything like that? Also, can you make it nice with proper formatting? That's okay to pass in JSON. Really quick response. It's nothing major or anything. So that should turn that back into JSON, and we should be able to get it back into the chat box. So we go OK. Have I left something out? Oh, max tokens. Well, I'm not going to use any more than 1,000. I wouldn't have thought. Shouldn't need any more than that. So we'll rename that as JSON file, just so we know. Okay, so what we're going to do is we need one more webhook, which is we need a webhook response. So we add that in. Okay, and so to the webhook we want to send that information from the JSON file. So again, we're going to take the result, okay, and what will happen is, as long as it gets a code 200 that everything's worked, it will send it back. So okay, so that's the scenario. So we'll say rename return answer. It's worth doing things like that. I often take notes as well. You can actually go add a note, so you can be more specific about what's going on. So, you know, this is a webhook. This is a webhook. God, I can't spell. Hook from the website, and it will contain a question, something like that. And then at least you've got some note in it. And just close that down actually. But if you go to notes, it's there. If you go to notes, you can see that it's kind of there. I mean, I'm working in a smaller screen because I'm videoing at the moment, so it's kind of, I got this smaller screen. It's hard to do everything. Okay, so now is the time to test it, of course. So we run it once, and that's running. So with the assistant. So I've reset it, and we're going to go chat, and we're going to just ask that question again. Hi, what is the ID of the product? Of the product, and how much is delivery? Okay, so we'll send that. And hopefully we've got a spinner, which now means that the scenario is actually working. And if we go back, we can see that the scenario is working. We've got the JSON file, and we sent it back. So with any luck, there's the product ID. So the product ID for the super clean 3000 is SC 3000. As for delivery options, there are a couple of choices: standard delivery, 5 to 7 business day. And that's basically how you do it. Now, as a bonus, we could add it to a Google Sheet or an Airtable. Google Sheet, Airtable, Google Sheet, Airtable. I'm going to go for Airtable because I kind of like Airtable, and I've actually already added one in. So let's go to Airtable. Okay. Okay, this is my table. I'll walk you through it. Basically, this is a name. So this is actually, I'm going to move myself over actually. This is actually, if you edit this field, it's actually an auto number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't always do that because I always add a record ID. Okay, so what we've got here is that comes as standard when you first set a table up. The question, which is just short text. The answer is long text because we don't know how long that answer is going to be. So these are some tests I've done. And then record ID is easy to do. You call it record ID, and then you go down to formulas. And when you go down to formulas, all you have to do is start typing in record, and you get the record ID, and then you can save it, and it automatically gives you those record IDs. I'll probably upset it because I've done it again. Yeah, so there's all the record IDs. I always put a created and created time and a modified time because you might need that in the future with some scenarios. I always put it in. Now here I've got the username, well, because in the second version that's in the system, it can ask for the name and email address. So I actually called it username and user email, and you can see it's my address it's using there. I've also added this, which is not sent, because what I'm going to do is add in extra functionality. So every day it will look through all the not sents and send me emails of all this information and then turn that into sent. So basically these should all be automatically not sent. I haven't quite put that functionality in yet. So what we'd actually do is if we came over to the integration, okay, and we'll bring this down a bit, sort it out. I actually like doing things like this. I think it takes up less room. It's not as tidy, and so what we're going to do is we're going to put an Airtable in. So I'm in the way again. We want Airtable. We go to Airtable, and what we want to do is, yeah, that's what we want. Creates a new record in Airtable. So we will then click on that, get the table that we want, which in this case is the chatbot questions. Okay, table is Q&As. I renamed it to Q&As. So question is the result there of question, that one bouncing up. GPT answer, we're going to use the full answer from here, not the JSON one. So that would be GPT answer there. Then, now this is where it gets a bit difficult because I'm not going to go into the username and password scenario, but if you're using the name and email address, that will be passed as well. So you'd be able to add that to the records, but we haven't got that. So basically, that's it. And that will now add a username and password. And you can do that with Google Sheets. So I could actually rename that, to save questions Q&A in this particular case because it hasn't got the other one. So if you want this scenario, there'll be a link in the description below which will include files. Now I will be updating it, so if you get on the list and you get the file sent to you, when I do an update I'll send that file to you and everything else, so you can carry on with any changes. I may do some other videos as well. I'll see how it goes, but have a look at the link below, see if it suits what you need, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I hope that's answered everything. If you enjoyed the video and you like what I do, please give me the thumbs up, because that always helps the thumbs up. That always helps the algorithm, or whatever you call YouTube thingy. And if you could like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff, it'd be great. Okay, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.